need for home decorating. They've even taken on a new paint line. Benjamin Moore has come to West Side Decorating Center. Stop in, visit them today. Good morning. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite institutions in this area and something that's happening, a big event happening with a particular individual. We have a couple of guests with us to talk about it. First of all, from that institution, which is the Heroes Museum in Saginaw. And we are proud to welcome to the program John Ryder. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
We're doing well. Good to see you. Give everybody now the official name of the museum.
So it's the Michigan Heroes Museum.
Michigan Heroes Museum.
You bet.
And also with us from Go Great Lakes Bay, and we say good morning to Jill Shorkey. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Art. Thank you so much for having us
Sure.
today.
So let's talk right off the top about why you guys are here, because there is a special event coming up with a very special individuals. Tell us about it. Tell us the where's and when's and who's.
You bet. On Tuesday, May 13th, from 6 to 8 o'clock at the Bronner Performing Arts Center in Frankenmuth, we're going to welcome Captain Phillips from the Alabama Maersk and the Maersk, Alabama. And we're going to have him there, and he's going to talk about the valor of the Navy SEALs, and he's going to talk about stepping up, finding courage within yourself, and putting your community first.
And for those that don't know Captain Phillips, there's been a movie about him, Tom Hanks. This is the guy that captained the ship that was shanghaied by Somali pirates.
Correct.
And the movie goes to show how the SEALs ended the seas.
Yes, exactly.
And how Captain Phillips survived, really. I mean, when probably most would have not.
Exactly. And so it's just going to be kind of a fireside chat, he said. He's done this many times, and he's got it worked out really well. And he said it's going to be just him telling the story.
And so everybody understands, where is the Bronner's Performing Arts Center?
It's attached to the Frankenmuth High School, right?
It is on the high school on Junction, if you go straight, rather than turn down one of the main streets.
Exactly. Yep. So
and when is it?
It is May 13th from 6 to 8 p.m.
Tickets required?
Yes. If you go to our website, www.miheroes.org, you'll find a link there. Or if somebody wants to purchase them with cash or check, they can go to the Frankenmuth High School offices and make that purchase there.
But you can purchase them online, though, too.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. How much are they?
It depends on the actual ticket, but from $19 to $49 for VIP seating. So it's a graduated scale.
Well, that's something worthwhile.
Exactly.
I'll be going online soon.
Wonderful.
It's a story. I mean, I guess it would be fun to hear it from the man who lived it.
Exactly.
I think many people have seen the movie. I've seen it a couple of times. And you get a certain outlook or perspective of what things were and how they happened. But like all things, movies have a certain amount of dramatization that goes with them. And so when you go and actually hear it from the individual who was there, you get the inside scoop. You get the reality.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, when you watch the movie Pearl Harbor or Midway or anything like that, at the museum, we hold our head and go, oh, my gosh, no. But at the same point in time, there is truth in each one of those, right? And so it's just dramatized truth. You just need to be able to pull out, what
reality.
is the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Jill, what does this mean to the Great Lakes Bay and to the CVB?
Well, as you know, I don't think we are your average Convention and Visitors Bureau.
That's for sure.
I think that
First of all, there's multiples of you.
There is, yes. And we dip our toe in lots of ways that we can showcase our region. So this, to me, is just a natural way. We definitely are all here to honor our heroes. And I think that when we look at how we can best serve, we want to bring all the information we can here And so, working in just consort with the museum, with how this actually all happened too, John knows as well, was the Blue Star and Gold Star families work with Team Honor. And so the Blue Star families are the currently serving servicemen and women in our country and abroad. And then the Gold Star families are those who have lost during service. So they came together with Captain Phillips to say, hey, would you ever come and be a part of this? And at that point, our president of the museum was Brandon Mineth, who was SEAL Team 6 himself. So that made a very clear link. He said, I'm coming to Michigan. So I just think from the perspective of the CVB, we are just grateful and honored to be a part of this, but we also get to, not in my job, I am a member of the board there. And so this is just a double whammy that is a no-brainer, and we're very excited to host him.
Did it take sponsors to do this?
Yes, it has. It's taken quite a few sponsors from the Cheese House and a lot of different places in Frankenmuth. A lot of families stepping forward and saying, "This is something that's important to me."
Yeah, we did. We reached out and got just beautiful response back from the community, and it was great. It's going to be a really
it's such a unique thing to be able to hear it firsthand.
Exactly,
the guy who lived it.
Yes. Yep, and it's maybe not a once in a lifetime thing for everybody, but for a lot of people it will be, right?
Oh,
to
absolutely.
be able to hear this.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're excited to bring it.
Wow, we're excited to see it. It's the good thing.
Wonderful.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with our guests, talk more about it, talk more about the museum, too. But before we do that, let me ask you how you slept last night. Today we're asked to do more for less. So when you go to bed and you spend a third of your life there, you need quality sleep. And you can get it with a quality mattress from Sanitary Mattress. Now, you can visit all the so-called sleep stores, or you can rest assured your mattress is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region to your specifications. Your time in bed may be cut short by today's demanding world, but you can still get a quality good night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. They feature a 1-hour delivery window of your mattress to your home. And by the way, if you have an RV or a boat, Sanitary Mattress will custom make a mattress for you to your exact size, something the box stores can't do. Visit the Sanitary Mattress Factory and Showroom, 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, just east of the Harry Brown Airport. Visit them online at sanitarymattress.com or call them at 989-753-1757. Sanitary Mattress, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 1935.
Not everyone who handles your personal information.
We're back with you, and in studio with me we have Jill Shorkey with the CVB and also a board member of the Michigan Heroes Museum, and its director is with us, John Ryder, talking about Captain Phillips coming to town on the 13th of May to speak at the Bronner's Performing Center. We'll come back to that, but I want to go talk a little bit about the museum. How would you, John, describe the museum and its mission?
So the museum is a lot of different things to a lot of people, right? It can be an educational place. It can be a solemn place, almost like a chapel, depending on what your heart is seeking to get out of that visit. And sometimes people come in not knowing what they're going to expect, and then they end up with just a surprise, and we get some great feedback. But the museum's goal is to honor, respect, and remember the servicemen and women and our astronauts from the state of Michigan. And they're just, each of our over 900 stories are fascinating.
And many of them, it has to be one of the largest collections of Medal of Honor winners.
That is correct. It's the largest dedicated to just one state. The Medal of Honor Museum, National Medal of Honor Museum, opened at the end of March here down in Texas. They have the largest collection, but they don't have any Michigan medals. So,
really?
Correct.
Well, and you're not going to give them any.
Right. Well, we may loan them. We've
loaned them. Yeah, there you go.
To the World War II Museum and things like that, because these stories need as wide of an audience as we can get for them. And one of the things we were talking about earlier, as far as outreach and education, we're working with the Grand Rapids Public Museum to, just before Memorial Day, get our stories into their facility and cast a wider net, letting people know what our veterans have done for our communities.
So you're setting up sort of a traveling display.
Yeah, it's going to be a secondary place where people can visit the stories that we tell.
How long will it be there?
Those stories will be there for a year, and
it's a long run.
Exactly, and then we're looking at an ongoing relationship where we rotate them through. Yes,
you could do that elsewhere, couldn't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's no reason why we can't make sure that these stories are told everywhere.
How many service members are represented at the museum now?
So at any one time, we have 140 to 175 stories out, depending on how we have them displayed. But we have over 900 stories that we rotate through the museum. And then
explain to everybody what you mean by a story, because it comes with lots of artifacts.
Yeah, sure. So we've got a 4x4 display that's 2 foot deep, and what we do is we in there you'll see a mannequin with the uniform. You'll see artifacts and memorabilia from their service, and what we do is we use that little space to tell that individual's story of their service and sacrifice. We may not tell much before and after their service, because what we're looking to do is tell that snapshot of that moment in time of when they served. And we don't care whether a cook or clerk typist or frontline combat. We want to tell those stories because they signed up and they took an oath and they did the exact same thing that everybody else did, and they put their life on the line, whether or not they, Uncle Sam asked them to at the end.
All branches of the military, including the new Space Force?
Yes.
You haven't got much out of that yet.
Right. No, we don't have any Space Force stories in the museum yet. We've got one that's on its way, though.
Oh, do you really?
Yes. Yep. It's an individual who served in the Air Force and then transferred over to help start the Space Force.
When's that coming?
It should hopefully within the 6 months or so, but they're getting the stuff ready on their end. So
the museum is supported how?
So a little bit from our ticket sales, but a lot through community events and the goodwill of our members and people who want to see our veterans' stories told long into the future. They want to help us honor, respect, and remember those individuals.
And when is the museum available to the public?
So we're open 7 days a week from 10 to 5.
7 days a week?
7 days. 7 days a week from 10 to 5. With that small crew that we have, we not only man the museum, give tours, switch out those displays, and get new stories all at the same time.
Which begs the question, how many volunteers do you use?
As many as we can get.
I would imagine. If somebody's interested in volunteering, what's involved and how do they do it?
So it depends on what their interest is, right? We don't want to ask somebody to do something that they're going to be less than passionate about. If they want to help us organize our artifacts, we'll take it. If they want to help us catalog and take pictures, we'll take it. If they want to help us go through our files and scan in documents, we'll take it. It doesn't matter what your interest is. Chances are we'll need that help.
Do you have an online presence that's significant?
Yeah, so we do have our online website at miheroes.org. And on there, you can see that we've got about 750, just under 750 of our stories are listed on an online map on our collections page. And so we're making sure that those stories are available to anybody that's willing to look them up.
So let me ask you this, John. If I said to you, let's look at the Ryder Crystal Ball 5 or 10 years down the road, what's the museum going to look like?
So I would love to know what is going to be there, but I think we're going to have a larger presence around the state. We're working on educational programming for students and from around the state, things that they can do in their classrooms and for those classrooms that are close enough to visit us. We're just looking at incorporating new technologies as they come online and become available to us. We're looking at different ways to incorporate them to make the museum more accessible to young minds, right? Young minds aren't easily captured by static displays and things, so we're always looking for new and innovative ways to capture those minds.
Yeah, but having a jet or a tank outside does tend to capture one's imagination.
That does, absolutely.
So is the building in good shape, and is it large enough for what you want to do?
So the building's in great shape. It's not big enough for what we're looking to, for everything we're looking to do. That's the reason why we're going to a lot of online stories now. We've got things, and the stories are what are important to save, right? So we're looking to gather those stories from families and the individuals themselves, because that's what's important to us.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. I mean, I can remember it from its beginnings in Stan, and it just it captures you when you get in there.
Yeah, well, and that's what we look for. Every once in a while, we'll get a young individual or somebody that'll come in and take a quick trip through the museum, not exactly understanding it, but 99% of the people that walk through there, they walk out saying, boy, not only didn't we know this place existed, we didn't know any place like this existed.
Yeah. So, Jill, what lured you to it?
Well, for years I've worked in the region, and I worked in senior living, and we used to host the Warrior Appreciation Rally. That's how I met John. And so as we kind of chatted, and knowing that came to its end last year, 10th year, he said, you are very involved with this, and I think that you might be good on our board. I think he just likes that I just tell people what to do. Pretty much I'm great at that. And I'm 6'2", so nobody really says no. It's fantastic. But one of the things that I've always, I did not serve, I did not have family that served. But what I do know is, as a civilian, we are garnered amazing liberties here in this country due to the service of others. They sign up to do God knows what, God knows where, with God knows who, for God knows how long. Mm-hmm. So that tells me their servant leadership far surpasses anything else. So that's all I need to know. And so this is a way that I can assist, and I can help, and I can share the information. In my role, I work with group tours. So we have tour groups that are coming here from all over the United States, domestic mostly, but also Canada are very close. And so this is just another feather in our cap and a jewel in our crown that we get to share, to have people come when they come and visit us. And so it is just, to me, it was just a natural way to try to help. I
go back with the museum quite a ways, because I was on the board when Stan was still alive.
Exactly.
And it's just such a unique place.
Yeah.
You get a certain feeling when you walk in. Surrounds you.
Yep.
You see all those uniforms and everything. It's amazing.
I also think these stories, I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's all right.
I also think the fact that these stories are being told, oftentimes families have zero idea.
Yeah.
They have been, sworn to secrecy, the actual servicemen or woman. And so to me, this is history, but it also is a surprise a lot of times to the families. So I'm grateful we get to share that.
Take a break, come back, and talk maybe some of the new members that you have, or some of the members you have All of that coming up.
Hey, it's Christiana Malagata.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show. In studio with me, Jill Shorkey from Go Great Lakes, the CVB, and also a member of the Michigan Heroes Museum Board. And the director of the museum, John Ryder, is with us this morning. So, John, you're talking about these online stories that you're eventually going to put onto your website. Individuals we may know?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an individual from Dublin, Michigan. He grew up in Mississippi. He was born in 1931 in Mississippi. He went to the University of Michigan. Where
anybody that does that must have a really deep voice.
Exactly. He ended up going to the University of Michigan in the pre-med program. He was in the ROTC, and he came out and he served, went to Fort Benning, and went through Ranger School. Received his Ranger tab, and was part of a regimental combat team. Went to Colorado as a lieutenant, and after his enlistment was over, he actually used his GI Bill to go through the American Theater Wing in New York City, and starred in Broadway. And we all know him as the voice of Darth Vader, James Earl Jones.
Yep, James Earl Jones, amazing individual.
Yeah, so after a while as a youth, he moved up to Dublin, Michigan, just outside Cadillac, and he grew up on his grandparents' farm.
And that'll be an online story.
Yes, right? Absolutely. Yep. And then I think we were talking to Kermal, Casey Kasem as well. We'll have his story up there. He served during the Korean War, kind of like the Good Morning Vietnam guys, right? He was on air over in Korea as well. So, and there's so many stories like that we don't have the items for, so we would never display them in our museum, but we know the stories, so we thought, why not?
And there's
share
a Michigan
those?
Connection with all of them.
Exactly.
Someone from Detroit.
Yep, and that was Casey Kasem. Yep.
And then who else from Detroit?
And so also from Detroit, a lot of the viewers or TV people would know the name Sonny Elliott.
Yep.
Lieutenant Colonel Marvin Elliott, who served in the U.S. Army Air Corps and then Air Force. His B-24 was shot down over German-occupied Europe. And he was a POW in Stalag 1.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. And he just a few weeks before the end of the war, the Germans, they always thought that he was Jewish, and he'd say, "No, I'm Lutheran, like you squareheads," right? And he said that they always wondered, and after the camp was turned over, almost in every one of these POW camps, they all went to the offices and got their files. And he saw that somebody had told them that he was Jewish, but it was so close to the end of the war, they didn't do anything about it because they knew it would reflect badly on them in the way they would get treated. So, but yeah, he was a prisoner of war. But when he came back, you wouldn't have known it by the way he acted. He was just the most jovial person in the world.
Yeah, and he came across that way.
Yeah, as a weatherman in Detroit, he was the first weatherman in the country.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, a couple of things. I want to talk about how someone who has a relative or relics can get them to you, and then we'll talk a little more about Captain Phillips coming to town. All ahead.
It could be the best years.
We want the story even more. So if somebody wants to donate an item or whatever, we're glad to accept it. But what we want is that story along with it, right? That's that's what's important to the museum, is that we carry on that heritage, that story, and that we educate other people on what that individual did. I don't care, like I said earlier, cook or clerk or frontline combat. We want those stories.
Photos would be helpful.
Yep. So photos, any letters, any documents that they may have, awards, anything like that, uniform, medals, and then any items that they would have carried or would have been important to them in their service. That said, the stories are enough for us.
You display about 140 at a time.
Yeah, we've got 140 display cases.
How often do you rotate them?
And so we rotate. So we've got 3 permanent displays: our astronauts from the state of Michigan, our cross gallery, the second highest decoration, and then our Medal of Honor gallery. Those are all permanent displays. Yes,
right.
And then the other, about 2/3 of the museum, we rotate pretty often. Every 3 to 4 months, we try to rotate that through. And eventually, when we get in a groove with the Grand Rapids Public Museum, we're looking to do that, on that same type of schedule.
So, contact you how?
They can contact us either online. They can go and get our website and get our contact information, or just give us a call at 989-652-8005. We would absolutely love to talk to you about your service or your grandmother's service or your great uncle's service. We want to make sure that those stories are not lost, and we want to capture them.
Membership, can you do that online?
So our memberships are $35 for an individual or $50 for a family. That helps us to support us when we do a new display. You'd think, well, everything gets donated. Well, we probably have between $500 and $700 worth of things in that display, from a mannequin to the frames and then the research and the story. Yeah, because though they'll come in with their story, we want to research it, make sure it's as accurate as possible, and that we can tell the most compelling story possible.
Has the museum gotten national attention at all?
So we have gotten some national attention. The World War II Museum
in Louisiana.
In Louisiana has recognized us.
I've been there.
Last year and this year, we were invited to the first 2 Medal of Honor conventions. The museum is recognized by the Medal of Honor Society as being one of those key institutions that maintain the history of the Medal of Honor. And we go to Washington, D.C. For a symposium and help educate others on the importance of that medal. But the museum's so much more than that, though.
Have you had any of the Medal of Honor winners there?
Yeah, so just real quick, they wouldn't call themselves a winner; they'd call themselves an awardee. Yeah, so a decorated or whatever. Yeah, and
having long discussions with, I think it was Colonel Dolan.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. I learned that right away. I should have been careful about that.
No, that's fine. These guys, when you receive a Purple Heart or something like that, you can point to it and you can say this was for that, right? But when it's an decoration for valor, from a Bronze Star to a Silver Star to a Cross or a Medal of Honor, you don't know what that is, right? You just know it when you hear it. That jumping on a grenade or something like that. That should
qualify you for something,
right? Exactly. But yeah, no, we love to tell those stories.
All right, so let's go back to Captain Phillips now. Captain Phillips from the Maersk, Alabama, who were shanghaied by Somali pirates. The story told in a movie where he was played by Tom Hanks, and he's going to be in town. So let's give everybody the wheres and whens again, and anything else you want to say about it.
Sure. We are hosting him at the Bronner Performing Arts Center, located 525 East Genesee Street in Frankenmuth. It will be Tuesday, May 13th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. And the admission starts $19 to $49. So there's veteran and active duty, $19, and then it goes up in pricing. You can get your tickets